Hello, I'm Janine Shore. I'm so excited to be here with David Alto. David, before I go even much further, tell me, what do you do?
Oh, geez, what do I do? I don't know. No, I'm joking. Anyway, no, I'm a resume, LinkedIn, and interview coach, really specializing in getting my clients' resumes past the ATS, the applicant tracking system, or what I like to call the evil resume bots.
Could you could you tell me what those evil resume bots do?
Sure. Well, besides being annoying and rejecting people, all right, companies use software because they get hundreds of applicants, four, five, 600 applicants per job, right?
Yeah.
So they use software to review your resume versus the job description. That's in its simplest terms. And then your resume gets seen or it doesn't, goes to the junk box, kind of like. So a lot of people have great resumes, amazing resumes. Maybe I made it, maybe somebody else made it, maybe they made it. But for whatever reason, they've been applying for hundreds and hundreds of jobs and they don't get any callbacks. In fact, maybe within the first 24 or 48 hours, they just get those rejection emails. So again, companies have to use some type of criteria. So what I do is after I create a resume for somebody, then I use software to scan their resume versus some jobs they want to apply for. I personally kind of look and identify those skills and hard skills and put them in there. And that's why my clients end up getting more calls, more interviews because darn it, we took on and beat those, bots at their game. So
At their game. No, and I get it, right? Everybody only has so much time in the day, so they're the HR people or whoever is running those bots are trying to save time, but oftentimes they
yes.
might weed out the people they actually want to keep.
Oh no, yes, it's unfortunate, yes. But again, they have to. They're not going to have Gary and HR go through 400 resumes, right? So again, they have to use some type of software to eliminate people they think that might not be, qualified. So that's why you have to really look at that job description and really, really look at for key industry words, hard skills and soft skills, and then place them in your resume. You have to really slow down and not do the shotgun approach to applying for hundreds and hundreds. Just did apply, 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 apply. You need to slow down a little bit, apply for less, really look at that job, make sure that you align with that job and make sure that you are meeting, those keywords and hard skills.
Oh, that's fantastic. So, besides beating the bots, what is the favorite part of your job?
I remember being a job seeker. I remember being a job seeker on LinkedIn and how difficult that was. I remember applying for jobs and emails. So um, every time that I help a client or they tell me maybe, applying for 5 months and nothing, right? And then all of a sudden I give them this resume, they start applying, they start getting interviews and they thank me. And I'm saying, well, I just took your information and put it on paper virtually now nowadays, basically. But so I still, I get just as excited when they tell me they landed an interview or they got their dream job or whatever. So that's what makes it very rewarding for me.
Oh, I could definitely see that. Right now, I've been seeing a lot of people on LinkedIn looking for jobs. And although right now I own my own company, there have been times when I've worked for other people. And when you don't have a job and you're not exactly sure where that income is coming in, it's
Yes.
very, very anxiety filled.
Oh yes, I mean again, because you got the pressure, of supporting your family, or you're not supporting your family because you're unemployed, and I get it. And that's why I try to just provide daily tips and advice regarding resumes, LinkedIn, interviewing, because maybe somebody just needs a little bit of advice. Maybe they just don't need a whole new resume or whatever. So, again, LinkedIn is a very giving community. It's fun to be helpful. It always doesn't have to be about a business transaction. So I really enjoy the platform and what it allows me to do.
Oh, by the way, I am right there with you. I've not been on LinkedIn as long as you, but I've been loving it as I've been on it. It's right. I really appreciate the community that's there. Let me I'm gonna have to read this because it's long, but you had posted in your profile that you like to live, to love, to learn, to leave a legacy, and how this can positively impact someone's life. Could you talk me through that a little bit more in detail, what that means?
Sure. So, it's been, I think it might be a couple decades ago that I read this book, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, and where the author kind of shares that, and it really resonated with me. You know, to live, to really live each day. I Back in my day job, um, I never let the results of yesterday affect today. And I take that even one step further in my personal life. If something bad happened, even yesterday, man, I'm gonna try to do my best to move on. To really live in today. Because if you let yesterday really affect you today,
Mhm.
then yesterday won, right? And I no, I want to win and I want to live every day. That is an amazing book that I think stands the test of time. That Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, and the audio version is way better than the book because you get to hear the author. Um, and his passion, but to live, to learn, to learn, right? I always think that we should spend at least an hour a day learning something new, whether it's on LinkedIn or reading an article, reading a newspaper, reading anything. It allows us to get a different perspective, and maybe makes us more empathetic for whatever we're reading or understanding or whatever. So that quote has really resonated with me, for decades now, and I try to live that every day. And I listen to that audiobook about 4 times a year, just because I always just find um, new things to implement in my life by listening to that, or find others that I think that would benefit from listening to that too.
That's I have not. I don't. It's been a while since I read it, and I didn't know about the audio, and I certainly didn't know it was the author who read it. I'm gonna I'm gonna look for that. That sounds
Yeah,
fantastic.
the audio version is much better.
All right, I can't wait to hear that. Let me ask you
All
this:
right.
do you have a story? Can you think of a story of someone you've helped relatively recently, and how it might have changed their life by them interacting with you?
Sure. So, I can think of a couple. Most recently, just a few weeks ago, gentleman, again, been applying for job after job, just getting those rejection emails, behind on his rent. His landlord, because of COVID, was empathetic, I guess. Not forgiving it, but telling him eventually you gotta start paying me the full amount. And um, he was certain that a resume just was not going to help him. His LinkedIn, updating his LinkedIn was not going to help him. He was just in the dump. He was down in the dumps. He was starting to get, that I am not that good, right? And I get it. And so created a resume, provided him some additional guidance. He needed a little bit of more, maybe some structure regarding his interviews, and I was willing to help him do that. And sure enough, he had his resume on a Wednesday morning. He applied for a job Wednesday night, got an interview Thursday, another 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 interview Friday. I do have some bad news though. New interview Friday. They told him they were going to make a decision on Tuesday. They called him, said, "We just haven't done that just yet." And then the following Wednesday, they told him they did go with another, candidate, but he has more interviews, and he's just, he's disappointed he didn't get the job, but he's excited because now he feels valued, right? He got a ton of interviews. He understands they can only hire one person. He's getting more interviews, and just his level of excitement. He's like, if I don't get this next one, that's okay too, because there's going to be more. So again, now, his attitude has, changed, and I know he'll land that job. He needed that kind of reassurance, right away, by people reaching out and wanting to interview him, giving him value. So sometimes that's all it takes, and that just really makes me feel really good that he went from how he was feeling to now knowing that there's a light at the end, that he is going to get gainful employment. And when my clients write me recommendations, I just feel very, very, very grateful that I'm able to help those clients land those new careers, or whatever I'm helping them with. Maybe it's an entrepreneur trying to increase their game on LinkedIn. They just don't understand the platform, helping them out. But helping others, it's just so gratifying, and that's why I enjoy doing what I do.
I can see why you enjoy it. And I also, as you were speaking of that client you just had, what it sounded to me like also is you gave him hope. Like, you can say all you want, oh, fake it until you make it, whatever. If you haven't for 5 months gotten those interviews, it impacts you, and it impacts how you walk, it impacts how you feel, it impacts how you look. So if all of a sudden, literally within 12 hours from that change, you're getting interview calls, you're exactly right. Okay, he might not get the first second, but if he's got 10 interviews, obviously his percentages of getting a job go way, way, way up than if he didn't have any of them.
Oh yes, I mean, again, his mind shifted, because yes, I mean, we can. Um, there's things that happen in our lives, and that can really, really, grab us and take hold, and then just ruin us, right? And now I've given him hope. I check up on him every couple days on LinkedIn, see how he's doing. But again, because I can remember that. There was a point in time where, try losing your job the day after your wedding, and I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. Try losing your
Oh
try
no!
losing
Okay.
your job of the day.
Ah, I don't want to try that.
Oh, everybody should once in their life.
Right after the
Have it
wedding.
a
Okay, so that's going to bring me to my next question then. So you wrote a book, right? There's a new book, The Fear of Confidence. Does that story show up in the book?
maybe a little bit. The book is really, I needed to write it. So there's a difference between wanting to write a book, right, and needing to write a book. Um, that book, I suffered from imposter syndrome a couple times. One about a year and a half ago, and one just recently in October. I had my first paid speaking gig October 20th, 2020, and maybe the first 5 minutes didn't go so well. Then the rest went very well. And why didn't the 5 minutes go so well? Well, I've done speaking engagements, but never been paid to do it. So there again, I felt that, you know, why would anybody pay me? I'm not that good, and for me, it is hard to, you know, take ownership that I'm good at stuff. Just because for me in my previous career, it's always been about the team, gets the results. Um, so I live in Washington State. The speaking engagement was in Orlando. So right after that, I was beating myself up, right? Even though the rest of the speech went really well. I was beating myself up. Why did I screw up in the first 5 minutes? Why did I screw up? Well, the next day I flew home from Orlando. It's about almost a 6-hour flight. And I needed to get this out. So I started journaling, and I never have journaled before. So, and I type pretty fast, still 70 plus words a minute. So I'm on my laptop for 6 straight hours, typing away, getting out just all this negativity, right? Woe is me. I'm terrible. Why would somebody ever pay me again? And so then I journaled that. I let go of it. I'm over it. But then I said, you know what? I need to share this to get this just out, to even just let this, remove from my crazy head of mine to get this gone 100%. So, the book isn't a long book. It's not a novel, but it shares, my journey with imposter syndrome, my journey on LinkedIn. And then I do quote a few friends of mine and some doctors regarding fear, how fear manifests in ourselves and how confidence can really take control of our lives. So that's what
Uh,
the book's about.
so you'll have we can put a link, we'll put a link on when we're on LinkedIn to the book, right?
Okay,
They can buy
sure.
it on Amazon if they want it.
Yeah, Kindle or paperback.
Ooh. Do you read it?
Um, I, I don't have the audio yet. That's quite intense. Maybe someday.
Okay.
Maybe someday. But if somebody wants to pay me to read it, sure.
Then yes, then it'll be yes. All right, what is
Okay.
speaking of LinkedIn, what is one of your best tips for people if people are new to LinkedIn? How should they interact with LinkedIn? What is a good tip for them to use the platform well?
Sure. I think, in the beginning, what you really need to do is, look at your feed and look at, either hashtags you're following or you resonate with this and you like with their content. Maybe they're, a quote unquote influencer or whatever. Or maybe it's a mini celebrity that you're following on LinkedIn, because there's some mini celebrities on LinkedIn. But again, engage. Don't just like. In fact, I wish LinkedIn just got rid of the like, because
Mhm.
like does nothing. Make a comment. Tell them what you learned. That's how I initially used LinkedIn, and I went on different things regarding my industry that it resonated with me. I would comment, and then people would comment back, and then if you don't know what to post, it's easy. You're a subject matter expert at lots of things. Share one of those. I don't care if it's something that you went to school for or just something that um, providing advice, and then or learning something on LinkedIn and then sharing it and learning more and sharing. That's how I really started being comfortable posting, is really just finding those things that I'm a subject matter expert about, sharing those, and then eventually more and more people will comment as you build your network. But they always say that on LinkedIn, you should really engage more on other people's content than putting out your own content.
Mhm.
And again, I think it's fun to interact. And what if that person has never got a comment on a post before, ever? And then you give them and then you give them that confidence that, hey, somebody actually commented, or hey, this guy with 40,000 followers commented. Oh my God, he's busy. How did he? I'm just an everyday person like everybody else, just super active on the platform. But there's still times when people might comment on my post, and I'm like, oh my God, he or she commented. Oh my God, or it might be their assistant, because some people use some assistants comment on LinkedIn. But yes, comment, interact, and don't hit that like button. Actually comment if you got value. Let the author know, because that's why they posted in the first place.
That's beautiful, and it makes so much sense. It builds those connections, and that's what you want to do on LinkedIn is build and build and build. Let me ask you, this is going to be my last question. If you had to pick your current superpower, you had a superpower today that you're using, what do you pick?
All right. So what's my superpower?
Yes, that's the question.
Huh. Well, I think for me, if you take a look at my LinkedIn profile up in the right-hand corner, I have me and a robot are battling together. I got it in a headlock. I'm taking on those evil resume bots. I don't have a cape on, but I probably should in that picture. But that's supposed to be me. I'm taking on those evil resume bots. I'm reading faster than they can. I'm identifying those hard skills and soft skills so you can land that job. That's my super.
I have to.
You have
I love it.
never had anybody say They take on evil resume bots.
Never heard it before. You are the very first one with the
I
superpower.
am I am like the Terminator, but the human version of the Terminator because
And
I beat
that's
up
who you
everybody.
want. You want the human Terminator in your corner.
That's right. I am the human Terminator.
I feel like I should send you a cape. We have capes around here.
I'll find one.
We have 4 kids and we all love superheroes, so it works out very well.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure.
All right. Mr. Alto, thank you so much for taking this time and sharing all of this information with me and my audience and our audience. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Alto, for spending the time sharing so much information with me and my audience. I really appreciate it.
Hey, thank you for having me. And sharing is caring, right? It is. Sharing information on LinkedIn or whatever in life. You know, doesn't have to be Christmas to give away gifts. So anyway, give gifts of your knowledge to others, regardless of what you do.
That is beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much.